Hey everyone, it's the big week, the week that your expanded essay is due. Your essay is due revised, 1,750 words long, with the works cited list by Thursday night at 11:59. If you need more time, you know what to do. Sorry, there's Mavis. Um, so I just wanted to remind you of a few quick things. First of all, the most important thing that you can be doing right now is to use the resources that I've already given you. You should have provided feedback for the peers in your workshop group. You should have had a conference with me and gotten my feedback. And you also have my feedback on your prospectus and tentative works cited list and outline. I will definitely expect you to use that feedback and incorporate it where applicable in this expanded essay. So for example, if your tentative works cited list had some MLA citation errors that I marked, I assume you're going to correct them for the final version of your works cited list. So let's just quickly go into the weekly content. Please read everything in the weekly overview. You can see that I've given you some advice for revision. There's a video here that I highly recommend with revision strategies. The short of it is to start with the bigger stuff first and then work your way down to the little things. Once you have all the content in place, then you can start working on editing your sentences to make sure they're nice and clear and direct and correct. You can start making sure your citations are punctuated correctly. You can add your transitions and so on. I've also provided links to a bunch of the resources that have been available to you this semester. Remember, you can also find a lot of these things by scrolling here. My table of contents will look a little bit different from yours. But research tips and resources, a lot of what you'll need though for this is writing tips and resources, ethical source use with guides for MLA citation and so on. And then the sample materials are here as well, including, I believe, the video about the sample material. And then if you want to look at well, you should read the assignment. Make sure you're on top of everything that it's asking you to do. There's a link here. But for all assignments, you can go to this module under assignments this semester, scroll down, and you will see, you should have watched this video by now, and here's the expanded essay assignment. So again, just some highlights. These are the things that you must do to earn a passing grade of C or better. So you have to have that position and you have to support it with evidence from research and your own clear reasoning. You do need to address an opposing argument. So if you haven't watched the video on how to do that yet, I recommend it. 1,750 words is about 6.5 pages in most fonts, plus your works cited list. Remember, you need to meet the source requirements. So 5 credible written sources, one of them at least needs to be a scholarly article, and at least 2 of them need to be located through OneSearch. When you do your citations correctly, I'll be able to tell that you've gotten them from OneSearch because you indicate the database information. Again, these are the minimums. You can absolutely exceed that. Integrate your quotations smoothly and effectively. Put sources in conversation, so cite more than one source for major points and things like that. Here are the works cited list guidelines, and then all the English 101 stuff in terms of structure, good focused paragraphing, clear ideas, and so on. All right, the formatting stuff is here. You should have an original title. You should have a correct heading. This stuff isn't nearly as important to me as the actual content of your paper, but when you do this right, it makes a good impression. It shows you're on top of details. So that is always a good impression to make on your audience. Let's see. The paper does need to be submitted by the 29th. There's an extra H there, if you want it to be eligible for revision. So if you're planning to take an extension or request an extension, or if you turn in your paper late, if you do want to do the optional revision, I need it no later than the 29th. That's an extra whole week, so that shouldn't be a problem. If you're struggling, I do need the paper by May 10th in order for you to pass the class. Here's the rubric. Read this carefully. It's very similar to the rubric for the exploratory essays. There are a couple new categories. You'll notice like correct MLA format for the works cited list is new. Another new thing is the writer has responded to reader feedback where applicable. So if you have a problem that I have marked in previous assignments that you haven't fixed, that's going to hurt you there. So again, if you haven't been understanding feedback from me, make sure you let me know that so you have time to correct it. All right. And again, this note at the bottom, I really mean this. If you've been doing all the steps, you should be very well prepared for this. You have a friendly audience. Bill and I really like to see how everyone's research comes together. So I'll be looking for reasons to be cheering for you when I read this essay. It is a challenging essay to write. You're going to need to take it really seriously, but you can definitely do this. You're prepared. Let's go back into weekly content here and just wrap up a couple more really quick things. Within 24 hours of your paper, so your paper's due Thursday, by Friday, I want you to submit your email check-in. Oops, that's the wrong week. Okay, here we go. Here's week 14. By Friday night, I would like you to submit your email check-in, your self-appraisal. You know how to do that. At least a couple strengths and at least a couple weaknesses, but also what you changed after I saw your paper last. If you had a conference, in other words. Tell me what you've changed, what's going to look different to me this time. Okay. If you've already maxed out in the points for the informal category, this is optional. You don't need to do that. We are now in the part of the semester where you're earning points to make up for a couple of missed things earlier. So if you don't need these 10 points, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's good practice for your final assessment. Yeah, so as it says, speaking of final assessment, we'll start working on that next week. It'll be a reflection letter at the end of the semester that's kind of like a companion piece to your letter of introduction that you did at the very beginning of the semester, more metacognitive work. So we'll talk about that next week. For now, though, focus on doing your best academic writing in this paper. And again, oh, there's Mavis. She's very happy for you all and excited about your papers too. If you have any questions at all, I'm definitely here for you. Use the link to sign up for an appointment, and remember, if you don't see a time that works, to ask me about it. I do have meetings and other obligations to work around, but there are extra times this week, just like last week, so that I can see you if you need to see me. That's all. You can do this. Have fun with it, and take care.